It's a beautiful 61-degree day and not much of a wind here, and a great crowd as you look at Joe Vitt, who was suspended, as you know, the first 6 games, and the interim head coach 2-1 since taking over with the Saints. And you know the story with the Saints, and John talked about a rough early start. They were 0-4, and they weren't able to run the ball and didn't get much pressure on the opposition quarterback, but 4-1 since. And the defense coming alive to an extent and running the ball with additional people.
For the Raiders, you see Dennis Allen, 3-6, his first year as a head coach. 2 weeks ago, Dick, we were here, and I'm telling you about how he's brought back the poise of the Raiders. The last 2 weeks, it's been nowhere to be found. They've got to play better against the Saints to come out victorious today. You see the last 2 weeks, 97 points allowed, 934 yards. The penalties are back. Not what this man's selling to his team.
And there is Palmer getting set to take the field. The Raiders won the toss and will receive. Coy Francis is back, and Thomas Morstead will kick off for the Saints. So one of the rare games we've had when the team won the toss and did not defer.
How about that? I like that.
Well, why would you want to give the ball to Drew Brees to start the game? And we're underway. And a deep kick. And running it out is Francis. And Francis lunges past the 20-yard line, and the Raiders going on offense. And Carson Palmer, who has been rejuvenated, and his passing yards, 3rd in the NFL right now. And he has been an unquestioned bright spot for this team.
And I really think Carson's playing his best football since he injured himself as a member of the Cincinnati Bengals in that playoff run. He's throwing the football with authority. He's doing it without the help of a run game. He's looked really good.
Raiders will start from the 23. Handoff is to Marcel Reese. And a big gain on the first play from scrimmage for Marcel Reese. Out to the 40-yard line. Roman Harper making the tackle and a gain of 17 yards. And you wonder about the Raiders' attack without their top 2 running backs.
Well, you see Darren McFadden and his backup Mike Goodson out. Marcel Reese, the fullback who plays tight end. Now he's the halfback. Mr. Versatility for this offense. Carson Palmer alluded to the fact they may not have balance. Well, it looked good on the first play.
And here is Reese again going outside. He's got power and gets tripped up. Otherwise, he was headed for another first down. He picks 8 yards, and Curtis Lofton prevented that first down.
You watch Marcel Reese. He's a guy, a 255-pound man. He gets ahead of steam. He's tough to deal with. What you have to do against him is penetrate, get in the backfield. The Saints have been leaky against the run all year. They're starting off that way today.
Reese gets a breather at 48 yards, which was the best he's ever managed, and replaced by Taiwan Jones in the backfield. It'll be 2nd down and 2, close to midfield, and they go to Taiwan Jones. And Jones gets into Saints territory and gets a first down. And a penalty flag is down right at the point that Jones was tackled. The referee, Pete Morelli, from Stockton, about 90 miles away from the Bay Area.
Illegal block in the back. Number 10 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So that's going to nullify the first down for sure, as Derek Hagan, the wide receiver, with an illegal block in the back. And let's take a look at the Saints defense. And they may be winning the games, but still this defense is really nothing to write home about.
Well, the big problem's been the explosive plays, particularly on the run. We saw a 17-yarder to start the game, but you look at, they've got 3 players on all 3 levels, Cameron Jordan, Jonathan Vilma, and Jenkins, that are starting to play better football as this defense attempts to tighten up.
Reese is back in the game on 2nd down and 9. Getting protection and going deep, nearly intercepted. Derek Hagan, and the pass was thrown short, and Patrick Robinson, who has 2 interceptions this year, nearly picked off another.
We talked about the Saints getting back to what they know. The pressure on Carson Palmer, that means there's one-on-ones outside. It's Hagan going up against Patrick Robinson. Patrick Robinson does a nice job locating the football, going up and getting it at its highest point. Good play by Patrick Robinson.
And Darius Hayward-Bay, who is a game-time decision with a hamstring pull, is in the game now, number 85 at wide receiver. And this pass is caught by Rod Streeter. And Streeter about 4 yards shy of the first down. The rookie from Temple, tackled by Elbert Mack, picks up 6, so it'll be 4th down and 3. And Leckler will have to come in and punt for Oakland.
Well, a really good job of Carson Palmer checking the football down. I think Streeter's got to get that first down. He had space. He didn't turn it up.
So there is Tavares Cadet, the rookie from Appalachian State, who's handling the kick return rolls with Darren Sproles still out of action. And a good kick. And it bounces at the 2. And the Raiders had a chance to down it before it got in the end zone. Coy Francis, but Drew Brees will come onto the field now, back in the black hole of Oakland. Saints ball, and Drew Brees, who used to play here regularly when he was a member of the San Diego Chargers, and a great record against Oakland, 6-0 with 13 touchdowns and no picks. Saints starting their first possession from the 20. And throwing on first down and completing on first down to Marcus Colston. Colston has the first down and gets out of bounds, picking up 14. So the Saints running game, virtually non-existent, John, early, has really come alive.
It certainly has, and Mark Ingram and Chris Ivory have been at the forefront of that. And the guy that told us he licks his chops when they start running the football is Jimmy Graham, because that opens up the play-action passing game for Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, the fine tight end for the New Orleans Saints.
And Ingram is in there, and Ingram carries the ball, breaks a tackle, and still going, and Ingram with a first down. Great run to midfield. He had a season's best 67 against the Falcons last week, and he gets 16 on this play.
Well, you watch Mark Ingram, and he's really rounded himself into shape. Early in the year, he was not running with authority. Nothing like a little competition. I believe Chris Ivory comes on, starts running the ball. Mark Ingram says he's going to take my carries unless I start running, and he's done it well the last couple of weeks.
And John, Drew Brees says there's just not enough reps to get those guys extra chances, but now they have it. Pierre Thomas comes back in the game, and here's Pierre Thomas with a first down. So right now, the Saints, on the last 2 plays, running the ball down the Oakland Raiders defense, picking up 14 as Jimmy Graham comes back into the huddle.
Well, you just see this big of holes in a defense. It's not good run defense. People aren't where they're supposed to be. This was a defense that was playing the run well, but Doug Martin and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of exposed some holes 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they've been a Jekyll Hyde team defending against the run. Tavares Cadet checks into the game, and after a delay, the pass is going to be caught by Cadet. Tavares Cadet, and in rapid fashion, Drew Brees and the Saints have gone downfield, a 29-yard gain, 1st and goal.
You see Cadet as he gets his arms underneath that ball. As the ball hit the ground, I think that's going to stay a catch. But Cadet's really their version of Darren Sproles when Sproles is not in the game.
And here's the challenge flag has been thrown by Dennis Allen. And I think that's a good move.
Oakland is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch. Timeout.
So challenging the 29-yard pass, ruled a completion that would give the Saints 1st and goal on this catch by Cadet. The Raiders are challenging the ruling on the field that this is a catch by Cadet, 29 yards.
You see Cadet, look at this angle right in here in between his legs, right about there. You're going to see it's either the ball or his elbow. The only problem, I can't tell whether it's the ball or his elbow, so I don't know if that's enough visual evidence to overturn the call. We'll see what Pete Morelli thinks. The Saints will have shown that they'll utilize 4 running backs. Sproles isn't in. This is their version of Darren Sproles when they don't have him. Cadet. We've already seen Ingram. We've seen Pierre Thomas. You'll see Cadet. You also see Chris Ivory.
Well, if it goes, it'll be 73 yards on 4 quick plays for the Saints, giving them 1st and goal. And this is a long look. One of the longest ones, so indicating how tough it is to reach a determination. As Pete Morelli looks at all of the replays. Now, Pete Morelli has come from out of the hood, and he'll have his ruling.
After reviewing the play, the pass hit the ground is an incomplete pass. Receiver did not have control of the ball. Please set the game clock to 10:36. It'll be 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd down. Ruled an incomplete pass.
And Pete Morelli
10:45.
sees the ball right underneath there, and again, it's just a question of whether that's his elbow or whether it's the ball. He clearly sees it as the ball. Good challenge by Dennis Allen.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 on the 36 of the Raiders. And interesting that Cadet was wide open.
Yes, he was.
When the play was made inside the 10. Cadet remains in the game. And Pierre Thomas, the running back. First possession of the game, and the pass swung out to Cadet. And Cadet will have a 1st down, getting inside the 20. Philip Wheeler, the strong side backer, making the play. And so picking up yardage in big chunks, 17 that time for New Orleans.
You talk to Dennis Allen, he says one thing the Saints do better than anybody is utilize their personnel and their skills. I told you, Cadet is very much like Darren Sproles, so what do you want to do? You want to get him the ball in space, you run a little bubble screen, and you let him do the work. Great execution by the Saints.
And a 1st down at the 19, and the handoff to Thomas, and Thomas getting by one defender, and he drives another back. Matt Giordano is driven back. And it was Bartell, the cornerback, who missed the tackle, but he gets 6 yards. And lately, the secondary, which has been beat up, has been a question of uncertainty for the Raiders.
Well, and it's been those explosive plays. You see 934 yards, 5 touchdown passes. We've seen poor tackling reveal itself already. They've got to clean it up.
2nd down and 4. Breeze and the Saints are threatening. They go underneath, and the pass is caught by Thomas. And Thomas will have a 1st down. So after the challenge was successful, the Saints wind up 1st and goal inside the 10 anyway. Talk about the secondary. Tyvon Branch, who had started 57 straight games, the strong safety, not playing today.
The Saints are the #1 red zone team in the National Football League. Joe Vitt said the problem is we don't get down there enough. We've only been down there 28 times throughout the entire season.
So on the 8-yard line, here's Thomas. And Pierre Thomas getting to the 5-yard line. Leading the charge was Miles Burris, the rookie weak side linebacker, in a gain of 3. This team scores in such spectacular ways that they don't peck away in the red zone like a lot of teams do.
This is where we spoke of the newfound balance of this offense. I think this is where it really comes in handy. When you can run the football down here, it opens up that play action. You get one-on-ones on guys like Jimmy Graham, and that's a favorable matchup for the New Orleans Saints.
2nd and goal, ball at the 5. Breeze. And the pass is caught by Thomas, but he's knocked back by Ron Bartell. Good play by the cornerback, but the ball now will be at the 1, and it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1.
And there's some good tackling. Sit back, set that picket fence at the goal line, and then come up and tackle him. It's exactly what Bartell does. You'd like to see him wrap a little better, but he gets him down.
And Bartell coming out right now. Mark Ingram has come in as the setback. And Eric Olson, the extra offensive lineman for the Saints, play action, and wide open is Jimmy Graham for the touchdown. On the 10th play of the drive, Jimmy Graham with a 2-yard touchdown catch, and the Saints score on their first possession.
You watch Jimmy Graham, clean release. They talked about bumping him at the line of scrimmage. No one bumps him, and then more problematic, no one covers him. A lack of communication, a breakdown that can't happen because Jimmy Graham and Drew Brees will eat you up if it does.
So Graham, who had a career high of 146 yards against the Falcons in the victory and 2 touchdowns, has his 8th TD catch of the year and the extra point by Hartley and an 80-play scoring drive. What else is new with Drew Brees, who has now thrown 26 touchdown passes? He gets Graham, and the Saints almost made this look easy to take a 7-0 lead. A very efficient scoring drive for the Saints. 10 plays, 80 yards, and Drew Brees with his 53rd consecutive game with a touchdown pass. He has shattered that record. He has several other records as well. And now the Raiders with a chance to answer as Morstead will be kicking to Coy Francis. And running it out, Francis, and he slips. Would have had a lot more yardage had he not slipped. Winds up on the 20. So saluting the crowd, Jimmy Graham. Saints drawing first blood.
Well, when you're not playing good defense, as the Raiders haven't been, it's lack of communication. Watch these two. They've got these two. The guy going to the flat, the fullback Jed Collins, and Jimmy Graham. They both go to the same guy. That leaves Jimmy Graham possibly the Saints' best receiving threat. All alone, it can't happen.
From the 20 here is Marcel Reese. And Reese, very versatile back. 8th start, but his 2nd in a row as a running back. Has been a fullback mostly. And he picks up 6 yards on first down. He had 7 catches last week, 8 against Tampa Bay, so they can use him in a lot of ways as Tom Johnson is rotating the defensive line for the Saints. He did have an impressive goal line stand to seal the victory over the Falcons last week. 2nd down and 4. And they go again to Reese. And Reese is not going to get away from Roman Harper. And there'll be a loss on the play.
And that's the kind of attacking defense that I'm talking about. That's what the New Orleans Saints have been accustomed to. They play in the other team's backfield. This year, it's been a lot more of read and react, but not right there. Harper sees the crack coming. You beat the cracker from the wide receiver, and you get in their backfield. Great play by Roman Harper.
Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator. They come in last in the league, next to last against the run and pass. A lot of that could be deceptive, but they give up points, no question about that. 3rd down and 7 after the loss of 2, and the pressure up, and the pass is caught, but Darius Moore, and now incomplete is the ruling on the field, so it'll be 4th down with Martez Wilson.
And again, you talk about attacking defense. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, he brings the heat. That's what this defense is accustomed to. That's who they are. That's what they are. They weren't early this season, and they struggled mightily. I think they've met in the middle. They're learning Steve Spagnuolo's system. He's kind of moving towards what they're accustomed to, and it's working out of late.
So Shane Leckler will be kicking, and Tavares Cadet is back to return. Flag is down. And a good high kick, good hang time. Cadet trying to turn the corner and does. Cadet will go out of bounds as he crosses the 40-yard line. And a good return, but a penalty flag is thrown back at the 20-yard line. 58-yard punt, the return of 25, but here's Pete Morelli.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
So it'll be 4th down and 2.
You see Mark Ingram jump off sides, and that will negate a very nice return for Travis Cadet and the New Orleans Saints.
Speaking of penalties that hurt, the illegal block in the back after the Raiders on their first possession got to midfield looking good early on. And the Saints end up scoring the first touchdown, and Cadet again back. And Leckler will punt again.
And it's a little odd seeing that you're starting halfback on your punt return team, but when you have 4 running backs active, they got to play special teams. You only have so many spots on the roster, so Mark Ingram called to duty.
Another good high kick. Cadet with the fair catch at the 26. So Drew Brees will go out again with the Saints leading 7-0. 6 minutes to go in the first. Saints, who scored on their first possession going 80 yards
Number 69.
on 10 plays, will start from the 26. Chris Ivory into the game for the first time at running back. And he has really broken out after hardly playing in the first 7 in the last 2 games. First down. And here is Ivory, and he falls down after picking up about a yard. And now for a game break, let's go out to Patrick O'Neill in L.A.
Dick, a little something for your partner, John Lynch, to appreciate. Bucks were down 21-10 to the Panthers in the fourth quarter. Josh Freeman throws a laser to Vincent Jackson for the touchdown. They go back to the well. They go for 2 and convert. Freeman to Jackson again, tied at 21 in overtime. Dick and John.
All right, Patrick. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Falcons rebounded from their loss to the Saints and beat Arizona 23-19 as Mark Ingram into the game, and he won't get much there as Rolando McClain, the middle linebacker, holds Ingram to a 1-yard pickup. So the Falcons, John, now 9-1, dominating in the NFC South.
They were on the ropes again today, but the bottom line is you come out with wins, and that's what Atlanta's been doing all season long.
Saints just looking to get to 500 and take it from there. 3rd down and 11 on the 25. Here comes pressure, and getting hit was Brees after he let go of the ball, and the pass downfield is incomplete. So the Raiders finally put pressure on. Philip Wheeler, the linebacker, ex-Colt, coming in strong on Drew Brees.
And you watch this lick that Wheeler puts on Drew Brees, and you don't think Drew Brees is tough. You take that hit, and you get right back up. A good hit by Wheeler. Doesn't go to the head. Goes right under the armpit. Good physical play. Drew Brees gets right back up and says, keep bringing it.
So Morstead will punt from inside the 15, and Philip Adams is back there, and Adams makes the catch with a defender in his face and gets a couple of yards, and a flag goes down. And decent field position pending the call for the Raiders.
See Roby, I think he makes contact with Adams.
Right now the ball is at the 36 of the Raiders.
Fair catch interference. Number 15 of the kicking team.
So it's Courtney Roby. Let's see.
Automatic
Adams
touchdown.
with the fair catch. He did not call for a fair catch, it appears, John.
But you can't make contact with the punt returner, and Roby gets in his face. No halo rule, but he does bump him. So the Raiders hold off defensively and will have the ball on their 48 when we come back. Well, Courtney Roby runs into Adams, the returner, and you can't do that. Again, like college, there's no halo rule like the college game has, but you cannot make contact, and he does make just a little bit of contact. Good call by the officials.
Pete Morelli, of course, indicated that it was fair catch interference. No fair catch, but there was interference. So first down on the 48 of Oakland. Trying to get back, trailing 7-0. Carson Palmer getting time, and this pass is short, and Roman Harper nearly picked it off, and no Raider receiver in the neighborhood. Closest to it was Denarius Moore.
And there's a lot of fans here that are booing Carson Palmer right about now, but that's a communication breakdown. Denarius Moore, the wide receiver. Carson Palmer's expecting him to run an in-breaking route. Instead, he goes deep. Miscommunication between Carson Palmer and Denarius Moore. A lot of young receivers here in Oakland.
2nd down and 10. Off balance, and this pass is picked off by Malcolm Jenkins. Jenkins down the sideline, inside the 30. Jenkins tight ropes his way into the end zone for a Saints touchdown. So Carson Palmer had good field position, a near interception, and then a true interception. Malcolm Jenkins running it in 54 yards, and the Saints take a 13-0 lead.
When Carson Palmer gets himself in trouble, he throws off his back foot. He doesn't set his feet. When you do that, the ball tends to sail. Not a good decision, not a good throw by Carson Palmer, and Malcolm Jenkins takes advantage of it.
And a bad way for the Raiders to start this game, especially giving up a defensive touchdown, knowing that Drew Brees and the prolific offense will do enough.
We will review the previous play.
And of course, they review all turnovers and scoring plays, and this one will be reviewed as the turnover aspect of it, and if it goes, it'll be the first interception for Jenkins this year.
You watch Carson Palmer again, not setting his feet, pressure up the middle, but you still have to step into it. When you don't, the ball sails, and they're looking at Malcolm Jenkins to see if he did step out at some point. Looks like he's clean to me. So watch Carson Palmer, big, tall, strong guy, great pocket presence. But right there, he's not stepping into the football, pressure up front. Easy for me to say, hard to do, but you have to do it because when you don't, it turns into interceptions.
Was trying to get the ball to Brandon Myers, but he was off balance. And Tom Johnson leading the way, getting the block on Palmer, freeing Jenkins. And it looked like Jenkins had stayed inbounds all the way.
Malcolm Jenkins, a player that I thought early in the year really struggled with this new defense. He's been playing great football of late. He kind of embodies this more attacking style. When he plays aggressive, a really good football player. And he's, Dick, you remember about a month ago we were down in Tampa. He made the play that maybe turned this season around for the New Orleans Saints.
He made a great play, saving a touchdown, and then the defense, Vincent Jackson, the receiver for Tampa Bay, headed for the end zone, and Jenkins, and we'll show it to you, one of the great plays of the year, I would think, came out of nowhere, and then the defense stopped the Bucs on 4 straight plays.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown.
So they confirm the interception and return for the score. As you saw for Jenkins, the second career interception for a touchdown. Earlier this year, Patrick Robinson had intercepted a pass and scored. And here is Garrett Hartley, and it is now 14-0 in favor of the Saints. And for a game break, let's check in with Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Dick, what a comeback for the Tampa Bay Bucs. It's over in Carolina. Josh Freeman, Dallas Clark, 15 yards. And Greg Schiano and the Bucs have won 4 straight, 5 of 6. They are 6-4, 27-21. Dick, John Lynch, what do you think of that?
Coming from behind on the road.
I tell you what, where were all those points when I was playing there? Now they're a juggernaut. We used to have to win games 9-6.
I believe, John, you won a Super Bowl playing with that team.
We did. That was later on. Brad Johnson and those guys did put up the points. I just say that in jest.
So Malcolm Jenkins, and of course, we said the great hustle by this team. And Drew Brees has said that in any season, when you make the playoffs, you always can point to one of the big plays that happened. And he thought that the play that Jenkins made against Vincent Jackson of Tampa Bay ranks right up there. So Morstead will be kicking off, and Taiwan Jones now returning. So Brees helped by a defensive touchdown, and the Saints are up 14-0. There's Jones, will run it out from a yard out of the end zone. Taiwan Jones, and he's hit. Well, here is that play by Malcolm Jenkins in Week 7 against Tampa Bay. From the end zone, 2nd and 10, and holding on to it is Vincent Jackson. One man coming after him.
Number 7.
And it's Malcolm Jenkins. And Malcolm Jenkins gets to him.
Plays like that, you can look back on years and say, remember that time Malcolm Jenkins just would not give up, track down Vincent Jackson. Big time play.
And then the Saints defense stopped the Bucs from the 1 on 4 straight plays. Here is Marcel Reese going outside. What a move by Reese here. And Reese getting a first down. So playing without McFadden and Goodson, the 2 top backs out with high ankle sprains. 13 yards for Reese there.
You talk about that the goal line stand that they had in Tampa. They later had one in Atlanta inside the 5. This defense has been unbelievable. Steve Spagnuolo joked with us, now we got to play like that at the 50.
And you know, sometimes you have stats, but it's the timing of the big plays you make in a game. First down at the 30 now for the Raiders. Here's Reese again. And he picks up about 1.5 yards. Will Smith making the tackle for New Orleans. One thing about the Saints defense that has been struggling, especially earlier in the year, Steve Spagnuolo said the one thing, we never benched one player during our problems earlier in the year defensively.
And I think Joe Vitt was really proud of Steve Spagnuolo. Really easy to give up on guys. Coaches do it far too often. Instead, they said this thing will come together, as I mentioned in the open. We'll weather the storm. They have, and it's starting to turn for them.
Second down and 8. Play action for Palmer. In the pocket, looking for a receiver, and unable to get it to Darius Hayward-Bay. So the offense, passing-wise, has been extremely sporadic here for the Raiders.
This is what you've seen more. When you play that aggressive defense, you're going to have tight contested coverage. That's where Carson Palmer was looking first. Then he comes back over to his left. Good coverage by the back end, the secondary for the New Orleans Saints. Now Carson Palmer, one of the things his head coach really respects about him, he says good or bad, this guy next play type attitude. He's a fighter. He'll continue to play right to the end.
They were down by 18 in the 4th quarter against the Bucs and almost came back and won that. Here's pressure on Palmer, and he completes the pass to Brandon Myers. And Myers fighting his way and will have a first down as he just gets past the 40-yard line, picking up 9 yards. Cedric Ellings makes it tough for Carson Palmer as Hayward-Bay comes to the sideline. He's been bothered by a hamstring pull.
See Hayward-Bay on the outside. When you have those hamstrings, those guys as fast as Hayward-Bay.
From the 41 and on the option pass, and this one off the hands of Denarius Moore, incomplete. So right now Palmer has completed 2 of 8, has thrown an interception return for a touchdown, and only 15 yards passing.
And his accuracy has been off. This isn't the Carson Palmer we've seen throughout the season. I mentioned before, 106 throws in the last 2 weeks. You throw that much, bad things are bound to happen. You got to continue, even down 14-0, to run your offense. Have the balance. Run Reese, run Taiwan Jones. Otherwise, bad things happen.
And Jones is the tailback and gets the handoff. And Taiwan Jones picking up about 3. Tom Johnson with the tackle for the Saints. Interesting, when you told Carson Palmer that he had thrown 160 passes in 2 weeks, he didn't know that.
He didn't know it. He didn't know it, but he said, you know, they've been doing a nice job of keeping him on a pitch count during the week in practice. His arm's fine. He feels good. That's a lot of throws. 61 times versus Tampa, 45 versus the Baltimore Ravens. He's chucking it.
And another young receiver, Jerron Kreiner, number 84, former Arizona Wildcat, 5th-round pick, has come in on 3rd and 7. Here comes pressure on Palmer again, and this pass will be caught by Kreiner. And Kreiner will get the first down into Saints territory. Not an easy catch for Kreiner as he gets it to the 43-yard line, a pickup of 13.
Carson Palmer said, John, Kreiner's going to be a big part of this game plan. Remember, Hayward-Bay didn't practice during the week. He's a guy they like. He's a productive player. In college, they think this guy embodies what the new regime under Reggie McKenzie. Not the Al Davis type pick. He's not a burner, but he's a good football player.
Only his 5th catch of the season. And now the Raiders with their deepest penetration of the game. 1st and 10 at the 43 of New Orleans. Play action again. He has time. Pass up the middle, and it's caught by Hagan. Derek Hagan with the catch and another first down. So Palmer in rhythm for the first time today. Gets 17 yards to Derek Hagan and a first down at the 26.
And when you do this is where Carson Palmer looks like the prototypical NFL quarterback. That type of throw, that's driving the ball downfield with great zip, great accuracy. Good quarterbacking by Carson Palmer.
And less than 10 seconds remain in the first quarter. The Raiders with a first down will run another play, and it's a handoff to Marcel Reese. And Reese carries it to the 22 as time runs out. And that's the end of the first quarter. It's been all New Orleans offensively and defensively as well. 14-0 the score. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. And we start the second quarter here in Oakland. Dick Stockton, John Lynch, and we'll be hearing from Jennifer Hale on the sideline. The turnover, run in for the touchdown. So it'll be second down and 6. And here's Marcel Reese going outside. And for a game break with a flag down on the field. Penalty marker is down after a short gain. And looks like holding will be called against the Raiders. Well, they must have picked it up. No call. There was a flag and they picked it up.
Now they're assessing the penalty, but they haven't spotted the ball. Here we go.
Got to do that.
You do need a ball.
And you need a place. Well, they spotted at the 32. Looked like holding against Bergstrom, number 70. So it's second down and 16. And here's Palmer's pass, and it's caught by Reese out of the backfield. He gets inside the 15 for a first down. Harper on the tackle, coming back after the penalty for a gain of 20 yards.
This is the versatility we talk about with Marcel Reese. We've seen him carry the ball as a halfback. Now he's at tight end. This is the versatility he creates. Greg Knapp, the offensive coordinator, says a great chess piece. They never know where we're going to line him up. This young man's been impressive. When you can play that many positions and play them well, you're doing something.
And John, you said that they have to get touchdowns. They can't settle for field goals. No one can, but against New Orleans, certainly not. As Reese carries to the 10, and right now for the game break, let's go out to Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Dick, thanks. Well, the Cowboys were down 13-0 early, but they come back to force overtime where Dan Bailey wins it 38 yards out, and they beat the Cleveland Browns. They survive. Sigh of relief. Don't forget Thanksgiving Day. Washington Redskins go to Dallas. That is 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. RG3 and the Redskins, big win over Philly and 4 touchdown passes. That game on Fox on Thanksgiving. Dick and John.
Always a great rivalry. Second down and 9. Jeremy Stewart is into the game, and he gets the carry for the Raiders, and he fights his way inside the 10. And a gain of 4 yards. 14-0. The Saints on a short touchdown pass from Breeze to Jimmy Graham, and then Malcolm Jenkins with a touchdown return off an interception. It'll be third down and goal at the 5. Reese getting a breather as Stewart remains in the game. Palmer's pass is caught, but not getting in will be Myers as he'll be stopped close to the goal line by Jabari Greer. And let's see where they spot the ball. And we may have a measurement here.
Good tackle by Jabari Greer. It's going to set up the measurement, but Dennis Allen didn't hesitate. 4th down, 1st down. He's got his offense staying out there.
Well, they've got to. You don't know how many chances you're going to have down there. You're down by 2 touchdowns at home here in the 2nd quarter.
And you know New Orleans going to score, like we said in the open. You got to score touchdowns.
It'd be easier if it were 1st and goal, but it isn't. And they're short by the length of a football. 4th down and that much.
And you'd like to see Brandon Myers extend the football, but you see Elbert Mack go after the ball. Good job by Elbert Mack attacking the football. Doesn't allow Brandon Myers to extend the football for the 1st down.
So 4th down and less than a yard, and Marcel Reese, who's been a pretty strong power guy, has come back in the game.
I tell you, this is where the Saints have been so good. These 4th downs down inside the 5. Penetration. Last week against Atlanta, it was Will Smith on a big 3rd and 1 getting Michael Turner in the backfield. Expect Steve Spagnuolo to bring the pressure, bring the heat to try to penetrate. Carson Palmer said we got to impose our will in these situations.
14th play of the drive, 4th and inches. And the quarterback sneak by Palmer, and he appears to have made the 1st down. With a big, tall guy like that, you follow the blockers. Just extending yourself, you should get the inches there.
That's right. That's where Dennis Allen should thank Mr. and Mrs. Palmer for making a 6'5" son. And thank those offensive linemen, because they're doing a nice job getting a little surge against that Saints defensive front.
Well, they'll be sending that thank you note after the game, I'm sure. So it'll be 1st and goal now at the 1-yard line. Tight formation, and here is Reese, and Reese is going to be stopped, and Akeem Hicks coming in and stopping Reese for no gain, and it'll be 2nd and goal.
Watch Akeem Hicks. This is a big man. He's 6'5", 324 pounds, and he's starting to really play football. You see him take 2 guys on and then go make the tackle. Every Saints player I talked to on the defense on the field before the game, they said this kid's really coming on. They think he can be a special football player, and you add him to Cam Jordan, you're starting to see the makings of a good unit up front for the Saints.
3rd round draft pick from Canada. So 2nd down and goal. Out of the shotgun is Palmer, and his pass. Flags are down, trying to go to Darius Hayward-Bay. And 2 penalty markers are down. The pass incomplete, thrown out of the end zone.
Elbert Mack on the Saints is indicating that he got picked.
Pass interference. Number 80 of the offense. 10-yard penalty.
And they'll call it on Rod Streeter.
2nd down.
That's the call.
And it's a good call. Watch Streeter. He's going to come right here. We call it picks on defense. They like to call them rub routes. That's a pick, though, Rod Streeter. And the referee's right on top of it.
So now problems for the Raiders, who had a quarterback sneak for a 1st down to the 1-yard line. Now it is 2nd down and goal from the 12-yard line. Jeremy Stewart in the backfield, and in motion is Reese. To the left, here's Palmer, and his pass is caught by Reese, but he only gets to the 7 or 6-yard line, and that'll be 3rd and goal, and a good play made by Jonathan Vilma. Vilma making his 4th start.
Carson Palmer originally is looking for Brandon Myers, his tight end. He's going to run a little double move. Good job by Curtis Lofton, not buying it. Double covered, they come underneath, and a good catch by Reese. Jonathan Vilma all over him. Contested throws. They're making everything tough for Carson Palmer.
So you think it's 2-down territory here again?
I believe so. You got to be careful, Carson Palmer. You want those touchdowns, but you can't force the football and get another turnover.
And here's Palmer's pass, and it's going to be intercepted by Harper on the deflection, and the Saints will get it back off the hands of Brandon Myers and Roman Harper. With the 2nd interception for New Orleans, ends the threat, and a flag is down.
For excessive celebration.
Yep.
But you see Carson Palmer deliver the football, and that's got to be a touchdown right there. That's a good throw by Carson Palmer. Brandon Myers with supposedly the best hands on the team, got to make the catch.
27 and 41. Half the distance to the goal from the 20-yard line. First down.
Excessive celebration as the Saints prevent the Raiders from scoring. The Raiders had a first and goal at the 1, and here is Jenkins and Harper celebrating a little too much. Happy with themselves. They'll be penalized, but it's 14-0 still. The Raiders are dejected for good reason. First Myers and Carson Palmer, as the Saints, after the excessive celebration penalty, will start from the 10-yard line, but they stop Oakland from getting in. 17 plays, 77 yards for naught. And here is Breeze as he gets it out to Jed Collins, the fullback, and Collins fighting his way and close to the first down. Picking up 9 or 10, and he may have the first down, and he does.
And the thing Drew Brees does better than anybody in this league is spread the football. You try to put all your attention on Jimmy Graham, he's going to throw to Jed Collins. He's going to throw to Devery Henderson, Lance Moore. They just keep coming at you. Drew Brees does not discriminate. He'll throw it to anyone so long as they're on his team.
Now Chris Ivory, the running back. First down at the 21. And here is Ivory. And Ivory maybe a yard. And for a game break, Patrick O'Neal.
Well, Dick, we've shown you 2 overtime winners. Let's make the third time a charm. Houston Texans over the Jacksonville Jaguars in overtime. Andre Johnson, career day, 273 yards on 14 catches, that touchdown. Matt Schaub had over 500 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. And the Texans are 9-1, an NFL best. Dick and John, back to you.
All right, Patrick, what a scare today for the Texans.
We've got overtime in the air. 3 early games went to overtime. My Stanford Cardinal go to overtime last night. Come out with the win over the Oregon Ducks.
Second down and 9. Now Mark Ingram. Revolving door of good running backs, but this time Breeze can't find a receiver, and now he gets Jimmy Graham. Old reliable, and Graham, they have a first down out to the 31. Jimmy Graham, the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, and why not?
Watch Drew Brees. I mean, this is fun to watch. You talk about spread. He looks to the right. It's not there. Comes back to his second read. Not there. Comes back to his third read. Not there. All the way back to the fourth. You buy some time, and then you find Jimmy Graham. That's great quarterbacking by Drew Brees.
From the 32, and the handoff to Pierre Thomas. And Miles Burris stops him for no gain, maybe a yard, under 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. In fact, talking to Drew Brees the other day, he says, we're finding our rhythm. He says, and this team, he feels, not even close to playing their best yet. And of course, Jimmy Graham couldn't have better 2 weeks than he's had.
Unbelievable. Last 2 weeks, 15 receptions, 218 yards, 3 TDs.
There is a screen to Devery Henderson, and the first catch of the game for Henderson, who only had 1 reception in the last 3 games, picks up 3 yards.
You look at the Saints offense early in the year. It was 68% pass. The last 2 games, just about 50-50. Today, they're following suit, 50-50. Drew Brees, he's the one who asked for it. He says, about a month ago, we need to commit to running the ball, and it will open up this offense. It certainly has.
They're averaging 5 yards a rush today. Third down and 6 from the 36. And penalty marker again.
False start. Number 71 offense.
This one will be against Charles Brown, who is playing in place of the injured Zach Strief at right tackle. Strief is out with a groin injury. Missed his first game of the year last week. Jonathan Vilma. And he hopes it's not now. Lance Moore goes wide to the left. And Drew Brees going up on top, and it's tipped away. Colston defended downfield by Michael Huff. The converted safety at the cornerback made a textbook play there, and it's 4th down.
You got to tip your hat to Michael Huff. Remember, this guy started the season, as you just said, Dick, as a safety for the Oakland Raiders. Now he's out covering receivers like Marcus Colston one-on-one and doing a really nice job of it. Goes up, attacks the football at his high point. Good play by Michael Huff.
Thomas Morstead will be kicking to Philip Adams. And this kick headed over to the sideline and out of bounds, but a flag is thrown from deep in the secondary. Pete Morelli again.
During the kick, holding number 31 of the receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout. Coy
Francis. Well, Devery Henderson respects what Huff had done with a little pat on the helmet there. 14-0. We'll be back. Welcome back to Oakland. Beautiful day in the East Bay. And it'll be a first down for the Raiders on their 19. Here's Marcel Reese. And Reese picking up about 5 yards. Well, this December, the UFC returns to Fox as lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Nate Diaz, highlighting a full night of 4 epic bouts. Coverage of UFC on Fox 5 begins Saturday, December 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Diaz and Henderson go at it. What a great match that should be. Second down and 5, and here is Reese again. And Reese is knocked back by Cameron Jordan. No gain on the play. It'll be third down and 5. Well, the Raiders have had their opportunities in the game that you can't really squander much against New Orleans.
They have, and they said it, we said it early in our Simplify the Game. When you get down there, you got to score touchdowns, not field goals. They haven't even had field goals. They've had turnovers. You can't do that against the New Orleans Saints. They're too good offensively.
Third and 5 at the 24. Jeremy Stewart, the third down back in there. Short drop by Palmer, and it's caught by Reese. And Reese breaks a tackle. He has only Malcolm Jenkins to beat. And he won't beat him, but he'll get down to the 20-yard line. Marcel Reese. He's been a one-man gang offensively for the Raiders. Gets 56 yards, and the Raiders threaten again.
He has, and he's going to be matched up on Roman Harper. Dennis Allen says we want to attack their safeties in the pass game. It hasn't worked out so well thus far with 2 interceptions by the Saints safeties. But right there, Marcel Reese comes through with a nice throw from Carson Palmer. This guy's an explosive player. He's versatile. He's really becoming a big-time player in this league.
He already has a career-high 53 yards rushing, breaking what he did last week by 5, and here is the fade pattern into the end zone, intended for Moore, and defending was Patrick Robinson, but a flag is down in the end zone, and pass interference will be the call against the Saints.
You watch this one-on-one matchup up top. Patrick Robinson, I think he's going to grab that right arm. Moore has no chance but to go with the left hand. They catch him for grabbing that right arm.
Automatic first down.
I think that's a good call. You know, I usually tend to think on the DB side. I don't know why, but I think that's a good call. He grabbed that arm. And right here, I give it to Marcel Reese. He's not in the game. That's a problem. But Marcel Reese has been your best player.
First and goal from the 1 after the pass interference penalty. And there's a play fake. And here is Palmer looking for any receiver. Can't find one, and he finally gets it in there. Touchdown to Brandon Myers. It took a while, but he found Myers.
Boy, he did. He extended this play. Myers going to block, block, block. Then find the hole in the zone. That's what he does well. And he says to Carson Palmer, by catching that, keep coming back to me. I know I let you down last time on the interception when it went through Myers' hands, but this time he comes through for his quarterback.
And in basketball terms, he was posting up in the end zone. So Myers with the touchdown catch, and Sebastian Janikowski adding the extra point, and the Raiders are back in the game, now trailing 14-7. Myers, who had his first 2 career touchdown catches 2 weeks ago against Tampa Bay, grabs one here, and it's 14-7. 14-7, the Saints lead. A 4-play, 81-yard scoring drive. Marcel Reese has dominated this game offensively for the Raiders as a runner, as a receiver. Tavares Cadet running it out from the end zone, following blockers, and he gets to the 21-yard line. So redemption with a flag down. Brandon Myers coming back and making a big contribution, but a penalty following the return of the kick.
Holding during the return. 90 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So it was just a few moments ago where Brandon Myers had this ball tipped off his hands, intercepted by Roman Harper, ending a threat there, but he made good on this one. The touchdown catch to bring the Raiders to within 7. Coming into this game, the Saints were last in the NFL with the starting field position, their own 23. Today they've been averaging their own 18, and now they will start from the 11.
And you just think of the last 2 drives, the interception by Roman Harper, the excessive celebration, and now you get a penalty on the kickoff return. Joe Vitt's not going to be happy. He's talked about this is an emphasis. We have to be better, and they haven't been.
And that's just going to fuel the rabid fans here in Oakland. First down from the 11. Mark Ingram in and running back, and it's Ingram with the carry going up the middle, and Ingram getting 9 yards. And for a game break, let's check in again with Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Dick, Patriots hosting the surprising Colts. Both these teams 6-3. The rookie Andrew Luck lets that one get away. He's picked up by Aqib Talib, recently acquired by the Patriots in a trade from the Bucs. And yeah, you guessed it, going to take it to the house. 59 yards for a touchdown. This coming off of a punt return for the Patriots for Julian Edelman. Pats up 21-14. Dick and John.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Second down and 1 for the Saints. Now Pierre Thomas going out as a receiver, and this one is caught by Marcus Colston, and Colston with a first down was wide open as he moves it out to the 43 and picks up 24 yards for the Saints.
Colston, a bigger wide receiver. They use him much like they use Jimmy Graham as a tight end. They like getting him matched up on safeties and linebackers. The Raiders in a zone defense. Drew Brees manipulates Philip Wheeler with his eyes. He looks left, comes back to the right really quick. That's playing the quarterback position and playing it well.
Colston coming in as the leading receiver for the Saints. First down at the 43. And the pitch to Pierre Thomas off the left side. Thomas with a good hard run finally is pushed out of bounds by Ron Bartel. And doesn't quite get out of bounds as the clock continues to run after the gain of 6.
Drew Brees talked about Pierre Thomas. He said this is as complete back as I've ever been around. And that's saying something when Drew Brees, remember, played at San Diego with LaDainian Tomlinson. Not the greatness that LaDainian Tomlinson, but he does everything well. Extremely dependable for the New Orleans Saints.
An undrafted free agent from Illinois. Play action for Brees, getting down to the 2-minute warning and going deep downfield. And the pass intended for Joseph Morgan incomplete. And we have the 2-minute warning, so they've gone to Morgan with success in the past. Incomplete on this one. And the 2-minute warning here in Oakland with the Saints in front of the Raiders 14-7. 2-minute warning with 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Saints. Drew Brees' numbers normally a lot higher at this stage than they are here. 3rd down and 4 at the 49. Lance Moore lines up to the right in the slot.
Watch that matchup. He gets one-on-one. He likes Jimmy Graham.
And And they're not going to get it off. It'll be a delay of the game penalty against the Saints.
Correction. Timeout, New Orleans. Prior to it.
So the timeout was called. They corrected the
the
delay of the game penalty. So the Saints will use their first timeout here.
30-second timeout.
And it will remain 3rd down and 4.
Well, it was close to be sure, but the officials say Drew Brees got the timeout prior to the clock running out. Not too often you see Drew Brees a little confused. They showed a too deep coverage and then late came up with the pressure. Watch the play clock down here, and Drew Brees starts sensing the pressure.
Not even close. Wow. Not even close. He was 2 seconds late. Saints get a gift there. Third down and 4. Brees stepping up, and this time Colston holds onto it. Good catch with Giordano all over him, and a 17-yard gain, and a Raider is shaken up at the 35.
And that's trust right there by Drew Brees. That's trust in his receiver, Marcus Colston, that I can throw it up there, and at least it's going to be an incomplete pass, probably going to be a catch. Great trust by Brees, great catch by Marcus Colston.
And the injured player is the man who made the tackle, Matt Giordano, the free safety, who suffered a concussion against the Ravens last week. And now he is shaken up again. So the Saints getting a bit of a gift there on 3rd and 4, completing a 17-yard pass. And so halftime is coming up, and to see what's on the menu, here's Curt Menefee.
You always wondered what we did for the Visa halftime while we were waiting? Now you know. When we come back and have highlights, actually 3 overtime thrillers today to talk about, including Dallas, Houston, and Tampa Bay, all with huge comebacks. We'll see you at the Visa halftime, guys.
What a relaxed group.
Terry's even got his Ugg boots. It's winter. Pulled the Ugg boots out in the studio. We've got one of the sexiest men alive in the studio, Michael Strahan, recently called one of the sexiest men alive by People magazine.
I wonder if he wears Ugg boots. First down, Brees going underneath, and the pass caught by Jimmy Graham. Loose ball, fumble. And it's recovered by the Saints. And it looked like Pierre Thomas recovered the fumble.
You see Joselio Hansen get his hand on the ball. Gets his hand right on the ball. And Johnny on the spot, Pierre Thomas. What a play he makes getting in there and getting that football.
Big play by Thomas. 2nd down and 3 now at the 28. And Brees, under pressure, throws it away, and now the Raiders are claiming, and the flag goes down. In case there's a fumble, they were trying to urge the teammate, Hansen, to run the ball.
Intentional grounding.
And intentional grounding is the call. It all works well for the Raiders here. Pressure by Hansen.
3rd down.
You're going to see the blitz. Good timing by Joselio Hansen. Getting his hands on Drew Brees. Brees tries to unload it, but you're going to see nobody in the area. Good call by Pete Morelli on the intentional grounding. Only person close was Andre Carter. He plays on the other team.
And it went right into the hands of Desmond Bryant, starting in place of Richard Seymour. So the play now will remark, and conference continues. For the officials, the ball is placed at the 38. There'll be a 10-second runoff here. And intentional grounding, Pete Morelli going over to talk to Dennis Allen. Mike Pereira in our studios in LA.
Hey, one of the most confusing things here, so you have intentional grounding, which normally carries a 10-second runoff. Now, Oakland can decline the 10 seconds because they'll still want time on the clock if they get the ball back, so they get the first opportunity to decline the 10 seconds.
Under a minute, when intentional grounding is called, it also requires a 10-second runoff. Oakland has elected not to enforce a 10-second runoff.
And that's exactly what Mike, thank you, Mike, explained, because the Raiders want the time on the clock. It'll be 3rd down and 13. With 57 seconds remaining.
So Dennis Allen and the Raiders hedging their bet that they can stop Drew Brees here on the 3rd and 13. They want the extra time, decline the 10-second runoff. And here we are, 3rd and 13.
And 2 timeouts remain. 3rd down and 13 on the 38. Be a 55-yard field goal if the ball remains there. And here's Drew Brees. He's gotten a lot of time and going into the end zone, and it's caught by Lance Moore for the touchdown. And really appreciating himself is Lance Moore in the end zone. We've seen a lot of dances on both sides for the Saints today. 38 yards.
And one thing Drew Brees does better than anybody is work that pocket. Look at him extend the play, allow Lance Moore to get downfield over the top of the safeties. His ability to work within the pocket, in the confines of the pocket, hang in there against Lamar Houston, who's oncoming, and throw a beautiful strike to Lance Moore.
Well, Brees has been hit a bit after plays, but pretty good protection by the offensive line as Garrett Hartley adds the 21st point. So on 3rd and long, a 38-yard pass, Drew Brees with his 2nd touchdown toss of the game to Lance Moore with his 3rd TD catch. And once again, the Saints open up the 2-touchdown lead.
You know, I've played this position here. 3rd and 13, the last thing you can have happen is the ball to go over the top of you. Just can't happen. Double move by Lance Moore. Michael Huff gets caught. His safety abandons him. Mike Mitchell. Remember, Mitchell's in there for Tyvon Branch. It cannot happen, particularly on 3rd and 13. You say keep the ball in front. They may catch it. They aren't going over the top. And that's exactly what happens. And that's why you've given up 97 points in the last 2 weeks.
And that's why the last team you really want to face are the New Orleans Saints after those kind of defensive performance. And coming out of the game, a Saints player is injured.
Charles Brown. He goes out, and remember, Zach Strief, the starting right tackle, is already declared inactive today. That leaves Bryce Harris and Eric Olson as the backup tackles.
And that offensive line doing a terrific job as Francis, and it's going to be bobbled, picked up by another Raider, and it's Jeremy Stewart. And Stewart will get it out to the 19-yard line. So the Raiders secondary, and it's been really rough for them. Tyvon Branch, the strong safety, unable to play today. Mike Mitchell making his first start on the base, and they're getting an earful here.
And they should. Just not smart football. It's one thing to get beat, but you got to play smart football. 3rd and 13, do not let the ball go over your head. And that's exactly what they do.
Drew Brees now with 27 touchdown passes on the year. And that takes a lot of the wind out of the sails of the Raider fans here in Oakland. First down at the 19. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Carson Palmer, and the pass caught by Reese. And Reese getting 9 yards on the play. What a first half for Reese, who has 53 yards rushing and has caught 3 passes for 81 yards, including a 56-yard play that set up the Oakland touchdown. And this pass is knocked away. Good defensive play on Kreiner by Elbert Mack. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 1 with 16 seconds left.
Yeah, and curious that on that first catch, they didn't use one of those timeouts. I mean, you always say you can't take them home with you. Go ahead, use them, attack. You got to score points, get points. It's critical against Drew Brees. We've seen how this offense for the Saints can put up points. You've got to match it, and to do that, you've got to play aggressively. Bad clock management, I believe, by the Oakland Raiders.
3rd down and 1. Marcel Reese.
First team timeout, a 30-second timeout.
So now the timeout is called by the Raiders with 11 seconds to go. You know, one of the aspects to this game was a 7-play, 77-yard drive that did not allow the Raiders to score a touchdown. They've had their chance. The game could be a lot closer than it is, and they've had breakdowns defensively.
And what we're seeing now is why, as we said in the open, the Saints are a scary team. I mean, you know about the offensive firepower. This defense is starting to tighten up. Jimmy Johnson, I thought, chronicled it really well in the pregame show with the feature, talking about the leadership is back on this team. Joe Vitt has brought back the fabric of this team, their identity, running the football, explosive passing game, defense being attacking, and they're starting to look like that championship team we know.
Talking to Joe Vitt, wasn't it a pleasure talking with him yesterday?
What a treat. He said, you know, we asked him during his suspension, what did you do with your time? He said, 44 years since I haven't had the opportunity to coach someone. He said, I went hung out with my grandchildren in Denver, but you can only change so many diapers. Good for him, though. He used the time, spent time with the wounded warriors, and really gained great perspective, and he's back, and this team really is the beneficiary of that.
A lifer as a football coach. And now time running out, and Will Smith will get Carson Palmer, first sack of the game for the Saints, and time is going to run out. And that'll be the end of the first half with the Saints leading the Raiders 21-7, Gangnam Style by Lance Moore. And right now, Kurt Menefee in LA for the Visa halftime, which starts right now. We get ready for the second half kickoff with the Saints leading the Raiders 21-7. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. And Drew Brees, 12 of 16 for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Carson Palmer has thrown 2 interceptions, has thrown a touchdown pass, and the Saints will get the ball first. Tavares Cadet will be back to return the kick. And it's returnable to say the least. 2 yards in the end zone. And here is Cadet, finds open room. Cadet into Raider territory. A foot race and pushed out of bounds at the 26 by Joselio Hansen. And the official marking will be the 27, so a 75-yard kickoff return by Cadet.
And this will make Joe Vitt happy. This is something he's been harping on. We showed you the worst drive start in the NFL. He said our return game has to get going. Tavares Cadet and the return team delivers.
And the longest return for the Saints. And a first down at the 27. And the Saints trying to add to their 2-touchdown lead. Mark Ingram is the running back. On first down, gets the handoff going outside. Ingram will have the first down to the 10, to the 5, and Ingram touchdown, but a flag is thrown at the goal line. Penalty marker down as Ingram runs it in from 27 yards. And there you saw Brees talking with Giordano, who's back in the game, and by the way, a former member of the Saints.
Taunting, number 28. The touchdown is good.
So the
penalty being
taunting
forced on the
penalty
kickoff.
called against Mark Ingram, and the touchdown will count.
See where the taunt, he's talking and pointing at Giordano, and that's what Giordano was upset and talking to Drew Brees about. But Giordano ought to worry about this defense of his stopping the Saints. That's terrible defense right there. You've got to set an edge on the ball. Instead, they let him go right outside of him. No one sets the edge, no contain. Touchdown, Ingram.
And Hartley with the extra point, and it's 28-7. And it all started with the 75-yard kickoff return by Tavares Cadet. And this is a team, the Oakland Raiders, who have really struggled in the third quarter, and they're in a deeper hole, John.
Well, and you know, the struggles have started already in the third quarter, and coming out of the half, you know, you've got faith that the Raiders and Carson Palmer can put some points up, but the question is, how do they stop Drew Brees in this offense? And they showed in that first drive they're not doing it right now.
All right, right now let's go to the third member of our team down on the field, to Jennifer Hale.
Surprising that Mark Ingram is the one to take that. Acting head coach Joe Vitt told me at the half the Saints will rely more on the run game in the second half because he doesn't like how that Raiders pass rush is getting to Drew Brees. Meanwhile, right tackle Charles Brown is getting x-rays on his right knee right now. He was carted off the field just before the end of the half. If he cannot return, it'll be Bryce Harris in for him. And an injury for the Raiders squad as well. Tywan Jones has a left ankle injury. He's been fighting to come back from it, but right now his return is questionable, Dick.
All right, Jennifer, thank you for the update on many fronts. And Ingram with a touchdown, but first the kickoff return.
And good blocking, possibly got away with a hold from Hakeem Nicks. But Cadet with the great return. And then watch the block out there on the side by Jed Collins. Ron Bartell, the cornerback, you've got to turn that ball back inside to your help. They don't. Easy sailing for Mark Ingram. And, you know, if I'm Joe Vitt, next week I'm harping on all these foolish penalties. We've had a celebration penalty. We've had a taunting penalty now on Mark Ingram. That will hurt you when you're playing better football teams.
And they weren't doing much of that when they were 0-4, but this team with a 28-7 lead, and the Saints trying to get to the 500 mark. The Raiders have been outscored 116-31 in the third quarter, and it didn't take long for them to again get into that deficit. 17 seconds into the second half, the return by Jeremy Stewart, and Stewart brings it out to the 34, and Carson Palmer will now face a 3-touchdown deficit early here in the third quarter.
Now, one thing you can say for Carson Palmer, we watched it 2 weeks ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, down 35-17. He brought them back, and they had an opportunity to win that game at the end. But again, it's how do you stop Drew Brees in this Saints offense that's really rolling now.
And Reese with an all-round game. He really has been a one-man gang offensively for the Raiders, and there on the carry, picking up 4.5 yards, with Vilma and Hawthorne making the tackle on Reese, an undrafted free agent out of the University of Washington in his third year, and forced to carry the ball with McFadden and Goodson out with ankle sprains.
And everybody we talk to with the Saints, from Joe Vitt to Drew Brees, they talk about the return of leadership, and a big piece of that is John Vilma. John Vilma, one of the leaders, the heart and soul of this defense, to be sure, and his presence on this defense has really turned things around.
And this pass will be caught by Hayward Bay, and we're talking to Steve Spagnuolo about Jonathan Vilma and a lot of things that people may not be aware of, some of the talents he has.
Well, and Joe Vitt told us, he said, I think I've been around two players in my life that have photographic memories. This guy's one of them. He's a genius, as Joe Vitt said, and you combine that with his athleticism, his passion for the game, and he becomes the leader of this team, and he's so integral to what they do because he allows them to do more. Carson Palmer said he's clearly the quarterback of their defense.
How about the fact that he speaks 3 languages?
Si, senor.
On top of that, here is a play action dump off to Brandon Myers, and Myers slowed up and gets away, and Myers about 4 yards shy of the first down.
You talk about that role that John Vilma has. Steve Spagnuolo brought a more complex system to the New Orleans Saints. They have, it used to be black and white under Greg Williams. You get that cat, I got this cat. With this defense, it's more playing off each other. There's more options at their disposal. Once you understand it, it can be really good. They struggled early. Vilma helps tie it all together.
Tywan Jones is back into the game, and he'll get a first down. Tywan Jones fights his way to the 37 of the Saints, with Malcolm Jenkins making the tackle. We heard the report, the ankle injury from Jennifer Hale moments ago, and Jones is back. And this is a Raider team that is really depleted at the running back position. They don't have Richard Seymour today, and we have chronicled the problems they've had in the secondary.
When you look at the Oakland Raiders, one thing that's been quiet today is the wide receiver position. Only 3 catches from the wide receivers. This is an emerging group with a lot of talent. You credit the Saints for shutting them down.
7-yard pickup, and Carson Palmer is going to be decked back at the 50 by Jonathan Vilma. So Vilma gets a big sack and a lot of yardage chewed up.
And watch John Vilma. You talk about the attacking defense. His back blocks, so what do? You replace. He blocks Tywan Jones, blocks on David Hawthorne, so John Vilma says, I'm going to go get Carson Palmer, and he gets a sack for it.
And they mark the progress back, not at midfield, but the 45, so a loss of 8 on the second sack of the game by the Saints. 2nd down and 18. And here is Stewart swinging out of the backfield, and here's Stewart hurdling over a defender, getting a first down. Terrific run after the catch by Stewart, an undrafted rookie by Stanford, and he had to be feeling very good coming into this game, John Lynch, as you did.
And he's looking really good on this play, hurdling Malcolm Jenkins, and then keeps his balance. Tremendous athleticism by Jeremy Stewart.
I thought you were the best athlete until I saw Stewart coming out of Stanford.
Yeah, there's been some other ones.
I know that.
John Elway comes to mind.
Big win over Oregon last night for the Cardinal. First down at the 22, and there is the slant, and it's caught, and the fumble. It's caught by Streeter, fumble picked up by Harper, and Roman Harper gets away. And finally wrestled down at the 32 by Marcel Reese. Question is, did Streeter have possession for it to be a fumble?
Looked like 1, 2.
Yes.
That's going to be a catch, and a great play by Jabari Greer. The turnovers are starting to come alive for this New Orleans defense. They're being opportunistic. That's a good play. That's not just happened. Jabari Greer goes after that ball, then Harper picks it up, becomes a running back. That's good football. This is looking like the Saints defense that we all knew. They give up some yards, but they're going to attack. They're going to create some havoc and create some turnovers.
And the New Orleans defense getting equal billing, at least, to the vaunted offense they have. Malcolm Jenkins with an interception return for a touchdown of 55 yards. And then Roman Harper had an interception. And once again, the return of the fumble. 3 turnovers by Oakland. It's 28-7. Saints ball, timeout.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By the all-new Ford Fusion. Go further. And by Windows Phone. Meet the new Windows Phone, the smartphone reinvented around you.
Mike Pereira, your view on this, catch or no catch?
Well, I'll tell you, to me, no catch. And I say that only because the ball is shifting around in his hands and never really, to me, establishes total full control before it gets knocked out. This has become the hardest part of replay now, trying to determine what is not a catch.
Receiver never had complete control of the ball.
And that's what Pete Morelli saw. So thank you, Mike Pereira.
Please set the game clock.
Looked like he had a couple of steps, but he really didn't have the ball was moving around, John, and a good observation on the replay and by Mike in our studio, so it'll be an incompleted pass.
Well, you know, you see Streeter change the ball from the right hand to the left hand. I can tell you real time, and that's how officials are supposed to look at it. It looks like a Kier common sense looks like a catch, but Mike Pereira brings up a great point, shifts the hand. Clearly looked like a catch, but Pete Morelli and Mike Pereira saw it differently.
And that's why replay is good, because in real time you'd say, well, that was a catch. He had the ball, moved a couple of steps, but not so. So instead of the turnover, the Raiders, with an incomplete pass, will have a 2nd down and 10 on the 22. Complete to Brandon Myers and Curtis Lofton, the middle linebacker, covering. So it'll be 3rd down and 10. And it might have been tipped at the line, changing. And Bunkley just got a piece of it.
I don't think anybody gets a piece. That's just a wounded duck coming out of. Oh, he does. Broderick Bunkley gets that hand up. Carson Palmer, tall quarterback, doesn't happen to him a whole lot.
No. And Hicks very nearly had a touch. 3rd down and 10. Here's the slant, and it's incomplete, intended for Darius Moore. And Patrick Robinson, the cornerback, aggressive against the Raider receiver. 4th down coming in, and Janikowski will come in to try a field goal.
Dick, you talk about this defense coming back and starting to play some football. Remember, dead last in yardage coming into today's game, but guys like Malcolm Jenkins, Patrick Robinson, he was getting torched early this year. He's starting to make plays on the football like that very one right there.
Janikowski with a 40-yard try. And the kick is good. And it bounced off the upright. It went the right way for Janikowski. Still a little frustrated with himself. And the Raiders get 3 out of it. And still early in the 3rd quarter. Saints in front now, 28-10. And a 10-play, 45-yard scoring drive, resulting in a field goal by Janikowski to make it 28-10. And Tavares Cadet, who returned to kick 75 yards to start this 2nd half, will bring this one out from 5 yards in the end zone, and this time slips at the 15-yard line. So the Saints go on offense again. More of Drew Brees for the Oakland Raiders. 2 touchdown passes, an offense in which the pass receivers and the rushers have all starred so far. Saints will start from the 15. Drew Brees with 2 touchdowns. Mark Ingram has been the leading rusher for the Saints, and Marcus Colston with 3 catches. Graham also has 3. Chris Ivory now the running back. Fake to him in the pass caught by Jimmy Graham. And Graham fights his way for about a couple of yards. And if you've just joined us, the Saints offense sparked by Drew Brees. 2-yard pass got it going to Graham, and then the 38-yard pass after getting hit to Lance Moore, and then a spectacular run by Ingram, 27 yards. Those are the 3 touchdowns for the Saints.
Joe Vitt, his interim head coach, said about Drew Brees, what a competitor. He'll smile at you, eat your heart out, then shake your hand after the game.
2nd down and 8, and Brees' pass is caught by Graham. And just shy of the 1st down. And the other touchdown by the Saints was on the defensive side. Malcolm Jenkins with a 55-yard return of an interception.
When you watch this Saints offense work, you see the substitution. Players coming on, players coming off. There's always window dressing. It reminds me a lot of an old Bill Walsh type system. The same plays, but they're going to dress it up. They're going to put a lot of noise around it and then say, you figure it out.
Here's Mark Ingram fighting for the 1st down, and it's going to be close. Desmond Bryant starting for the injured Richard Seymour at defensive tackle. And it'll be 3rd down. Now 4th down and less than a yard. So the Raiders do a great job holding and forcing the Saints to kick.
Really nice job by this Raiders offense. Mark Ingram had been perfect on the season on 3rd and 1, 5 for 5 prior to that play, and the Raiders make a great stop.
Morstead will be punting from about the 15. Phillip Adams backing up, fair catch, and he's got it at the 26. Timeout. Carson Palmer coming back on the field.
It's been a great day for Philip Wheeler and the Raiders defense, but right here, very nice play by Wheeler. He's going to come in, get by the block of the fullback, Jed Collins, and make the tackle on Mark Ingram. Good football. Penetration, stopping Mark Ingram on 3rd and 1.
First down at the 26, and there is the end around to Denarius Moore, trapped, and will be ridden out of bounds for a loss of 6. And for a game break, let's join Curt Menefee.
Colts and Patriots, and right now it's the Julian Edelman show. Punt return for a touchdown, and now a touchdown reception from 2 yards out. And Tom Brady and company are up 31-17 in the 3rd quarter. Dick and John.
Well, those teams have played for so many years, even though they're not in the same division, almost as if they were. 10 consecutive years that the Patriots and the Colts have hooked up. 2nd down and 15. In motion is Moore to the left. Here is Palmer in trouble and sacked inside the 10 by Tom Johnson. 3rd time they've gotten to Carson Palmer today.
I tell you, the 3rd time, but the pressure has been consistent. They've been on him all day. And Tom Johnson just beating Khalif Barnes, the right tackle, coming back from injury today. And that's a good finish. You turn the edge, and then it's tough to get these guys down. Tom Johnson wraps them up and brings them down.
12-yard loss on the play. Bringing up 3rd and 27 from the 9. And they hand it off to Marcel Reese. And Reese, what a game he's had. Jabari Greer makes the tackle about 4 yards shy of the 1st down, picks up 14 more yards. So 168 total yards today by Reese as a rusher of 78 yards and as a receiver for 90. And now the Raiders will kick from inside their 10. Tavares Cadet on the short kick coming in, and the ball goes out of bounds. And the Saints will have good field position. Tom Johnson getting the 3rd of 3 sacks for the Saints today. It's been a defensive gem as well for New Orleans.
Talked about all that noise. Look at all that. Some guys, even on the timeouts, they hold their personnel.
Number 69 is reporting as eligible.
They bring an extra offensive lineman, and as a defensive coordinator, that plays tricks on you. You're always trying to match them. Then they come with tempo, constant personnel, formation changes, and then they're very good at what they do.
Mark Ingram. And Ingram brings it out to the 46. So this has been the trademark of Drew Brees and the Saints.
Now you get a whole new wholesale changes. Lance Moore goes off. Three guys go off. Cadet, Mark Ingram goes off. They just keep on changing it, and then they utilize their personnel so well. They ask them to do what they're good at, and they've got a great maestro, Drew Brees, who runs it all.
2nd and 6, swinging out to Cadet. Cadet gets away and gets the 1st down as he finally is tackled, and a flag comes in from upfield. Cadet is tackled at the 46 for an 8-yard gain and a 1st down. There is an injured player, Philip Wheeler, for the Raiders. The linebacker has probably been the closest to get to Drew Brees today.
Watch at the end of this play. You got to keep that head up. I coach my son's team. I'm always telling them, hit what you see what you hit. When that head goes down, bad things happen. Wheeler's a guy who flies all over the field, plays the game with great passion. He's been a really nice surprise for this Oakland Raiders defense. They've been struggling of late, but he's played really good football.
Coming over from the Colts, being helped up now. Like the two outside backers, first year with the Raiders. Miles Burris, a 4th-round pick from San Diego State, and Wheeler, who is coming off and replaced by Aaron Curry.
There's no foul during that play.
So they pick up the flag, no penalty. As we mentioned, Bryce Harris is now playing right tackle for Charles Brown, as Jennifer Hale had mentioned, injured.
You look at the genius of this. We've shown you all the substitution, and then watch the plays. They're very straightforward. I mean, that's just an old lead play that they've been doing in football for years. But what Bill Walsh brought to the game was the motion, the personnel substitution, and now you run a bubble screen. This isn't rocket science. It's the window dressing that makes it so tough as a defense.
Mark Ingram busts outside, and Mike Mitchell, who is starting at strong safety for Tyvon Branch, makes the tackle, but not before a 7-yard gain by Ingram, who averaged over 4 yards a carry last week and is only averaging 9 yards a carry in this game.
And the other thing you like is you see Pete Carmichael is the tempo. The Saints are up at the line. They're ready to go. The defense still moving around. Saints set. Now they motion. You've got to match all of that. 2nd and 4.
Chris Ivory in there now, and Ivory with a first down up the middle, and Ivory trying to get away from Matt Giordano and will be stopped at the 15-yard line after a 25-yard run by Chris Ivory.
And Chris Ivory, this guy brings something to this team, and I believe it's an attitude. This guy runs angry. He runs with a physicality that inspires teammates around him. Drew Brees even challenged me. He said, John, you're a pretty bad dude in your day. I don't think you'd want to tackle this guy.
And judging by that, maybe you would.
I think he's right.
First down at the 13. Ivory stays in the game. And here is Ivory, and he just slips and falls down. But Ivory with a 56-yard touchdown run last week against the Atlanta Falcons.
Here it is, Chris Ivory. He's got some mum. He can make you miss as he went 55 yards. But what sets it up, watch at the end of this play, running behind those pads, Dante Robinson, that's a bad dude. He runs right over him. When you can do both, it makes it tough for defenders.
No question. In his 3rd year from Tiffin University, play action, and Brees going into the end zone, and it's caught by Lance Moore for the touchdown. So they've been running the ball to both Ingram and Ivory, and finally Lance Moore gets free for his 2nd touchdown catch of the game, and it's 34-10.
You talk about the efficiency of Brees, 16 for 20 now, 3 touchdowns. Play action again. Well, when you've been running the ball effectively, it affects in the location of the football. And you see Jimmy Graham, he goes for the dunk. Lance Moore, the left-handed finger roll.
So 4 touchdowns on the year from Moore, 2 in this game. And who do you defend when you have so many weapons as the Saints have? Garrett Hartley for the point after, and it's now 35-10 in favor of the Saints with 3:26 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Saints, who have scored fewer than 24 points only one time this year, and that was in a loss recently to the Denver Broncos. They managed only 14 in that one. 3:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. And our Sunday night lineup tonight on Fox. What's all new, all night, and all right? It's animation domination. Don't miss a single hilarious second of the most outrageous shows on television. All new, starting tonight at 7:30, 6:30 Central, only on Fox.
You look at the celebrations, Dick. If you're 6'7", played basketball at U of M, you go for the dunk. You bring that thing down. Well, if you're 5'9" and you're Lance Moore, little finesse with the left-hand finger roll. You got to know who you are. The Saints do.
Think they're having fun?
No shame in that man's game. It's a special football player right there.
So Brees with 28 touchdown passes now on the season. And Moore and Graham on the receiving end of the 3 today. 2 for Lance Moore. One was a 38-yard score, and it's 35-10. Coy Francis in the end zone will down it there for a touchback. So the Raiders will start out from the 20, trailing 35-10. Want to remind you to call ** NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game. So the Saints, who have been a prolific scoring team all year and looking to make it 5 wins in their last 6 starts.
You gotta love that, Dick. You talk about your best players, your hardest workers. Drew Brees not high-fiving. He's looking at the pictures. How can I get better?
Reese, second effort, and Reese ends up with close to 9 yards on first down. That last scoring drive, 6 plays, 58 yards, and going back to the drawing board here is Brees with those numbers.
You talk about Brees. Jimmy Graham told us, he said last week prior to the Atlanta game, it's 7 o'clock. Now Fridays in the NFL are an early day. They want you out. They want you resting. He gets a call from Drew Brees at 7 o'clock. Hey, I'm watching practice film. I want you to do this. That play turned into a touchdown, and he said that's the work ethic, the leadership of Drew Brees that sets him apart. 7 o'clock at night, mind you, not in the morning.
Second down and 1, and Reese getting the first down and carries it out to the 36-yard line. Well, Drew Brees, as we told you at the outset, 6-0 in his career against the Raiders, and of course last 6 games 6-0 in his last 6, and telling us about the first time he was here in Oakland, and he said, you know what, I saw Jerry Rice, and he said my dream always had been I wanted to throw a pass to Jerry Rice. So he had a friend go over to him and say, can I throw one? He says yes. He threw a fade pattern to Jerry Rice, who was in the waning stages of his career with Oakland, and he says my dream was fulfilled. Stewart for a couple.
What makes that great is that Drew Brees was playing on the Chargers. Jerry Rice was a member of the Raiders. This was later in his career, and Drew Brees got his dream. He got to throw to Jerry Rice. He said, I can tell my family and friends I threw the ball to Jerry Rice on an NFL football field.
And it's always been special to come and play the Raiders here on this particular day. The crowd has been silenced by the Saints' prolific offense and their defense, which has come up big today. Pass caught by Moore, and Moore will have a first down. Palmer hits him, and they just barely get into Saint territory. Jenkins making the tackle. For a game break, here's Curt Menefee.
Well, another NASCAR season is in the books. Jeff Gordon officially won the final race today, but that didn't matter. Brad Keselowski finished 15th to take the NASCAR points title. The only guy that could have caught him, Jimmy Johnson, didn't even finish the race. So you're a Sprint Cup points champion, Brad Keselowski. Of course, the next race, the Great American Race. Daytona 500, February 24th, 2013, right here on Fox. Dick and John.
All right, no one wanted to mention that one, Curt, as Reese takes off again, and Jenkins bumps him, does not quite get out of bounds. And we have the 40 seconds now remaining in this third quarter in a 35-10 game. Score was 21-7 in favor of the Saints, and of course the Raiders have struggled mightily in the third quarter all year long, and it continued today. Second and 9 on the 48 of the Saints. Palmer. An incomplete pass. Third down coming up.
So you look at the Oakland Raiders and Dennis Allen, it looked at one stretch during this season like he had this thing going in the right direction. You lose your top 2 halfbacks. That plays tricks on an offense, and maybe some of the talent deficiencies start to reveal themselves. This is a team that was in salary cap problems during the offseason, couldn't make moves, couldn't re-sign guys they wanted to, had to cut others, and it's showing up on the field. A lack of talent for the Oakland Raiders.
Third down and 9, and a good catch is made by Kreiner, and that will do it for the third quarter. So Dennis Allen First-year head coach and the youngest in the NFL at age 40. End of the quarter. Saints 35, Raiders 10. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a break from your local Fox station. And there's the score by quarters, and the Raiders are outscored by 78 points in the third quarter coming into this game, outscored 14-3. It's been a great performance by the Saints on both sides of the ball. Start of the fourth, Dick Stockton, John Lynch, Jennifer Hale, 4th down and 1, and close to the first down is Marcel Reese, who has 187 total yards in this game. And the Saints act as if they have stopped Reese, and they have. And New Orleans will take over on downs, and leading the charge with Jonathan Vilma.
It's Vilma, and it's Roman Harper coming off the edge. This has been the hallmark in the important spots, in the tough spots. This defense has stood up, and they've stayed together, and now they're starting to look like a good defense. It's going to pay dividends late in the year. They've got a tough schedule coming up, and they're going to have to play defense in a good fashion. Sean Payton has always said, quarterback's best friend. We know they've got the quarterback is a strong run game and a good defense. The Saints are starting to show both of those.
And really it all opens up for this man, Drew Brees, who has so many targets. 1st and 10 at the 40. And Brees flips it up to Ingram at the last minute. Avoided the sack. No gain on the play, maybe a yard, and it was pressure by Desmond Bryant that forced Brees to get rid of it.
One thing Sean Payton told me 2 years ago, he said, I'm tired of people talking about Drew Brees like he's an overachiever. This guy is a superior foot athlete. He's a tremendous athlete. People talk about him like he's an overachiever, like he doesn't have ability. He's got tremendous ability. He just adds all the intangibles along with it.
And you got to credit the Saints for saying, we want you, we're going to be loyal to you despite injury problems, as Ingram carries and gets about a yard. So Drew Brees, who was injured and questionable as to where he would play, injured in the last game of the season with a torn labrum back in 05. And then he signed with the Saints, and look what he's done. Injury, 105 consecutive starts. And look at those numbers, including the greatest thing you can have, a Super Bowl ring. And last year, NFL single-season records in yards and completion percentages. And, of course, this year, today, 53 consecutive games with a touchdown pass, and leading the NFL in yards and in touchdowns. And there he completes another one to Marcus Colston. And Colston down at the 41. And another first down.
And Dick, you know, everybody in New Orleans, all Saints fans, you know what they have to thank for that? Me. I sacked Drew Brees as a Charger when he got hurt. They don't like me in San Diego anymore because I sent him out to New Orleans. But he goes down, gets the ball, and you're welcome, New Orleans. I sent you Drew Brees.
You were just doing your job
for you.
You were just doing your job. 1st and 10 at the 41. Chris Ivory. And Ivory picking up 9 yards. Well, the third member of our team is Jennifer Hale, who knows all about New Orleans. She attended LSU. And so, Jen, what does Drew Brees mean to the city of New Orleans?
Dick, it's really practically hard to describe. He means so much to that city. He is in many ways the heart and soul. He's the poster child for recovery. He was there after Hurricane Katrina and has done so much relief work. The city loves him. If he ran for mayor, I think he'd win.
And the pass is caught by Jimmy Graham. Would he have opposition, Jennifer, or would you stay out of that one?
Would I stay out of that one?
No.
You know what? I think it would be hard for any elected official right now in New Orleans to run against Drew Brees. I don't think that would be politically popular, Dick.
How about a landslide?
I think so.
Look at those numbers. 19 of 23, 188 yards, and 3 scores. 1st and 10, Mark Ingram. And Ingram down to the 25. Mitchell on the tackle. And this is where the Saints can really pound the ball, John, and feed those running backs. And, you know, the fact is Ivory and Ingram really didn't get that many chances early on in the season.
That's right, and they still the biggest struggle is how do you get each of them enough carries? Because as Drew said, it takes these guys, much like the offense, it takes them some time, some carries to get rhythm. They got so many weapons at their disposal. How do you keep everybody going and happy?
2nd and 5, Mark Ingram. And Ingram still on his feet. And the Raiders takes more than one to stop Mr. Ingram. And a loss of 5 on this play.
One thing I like about the Raiders in this 4th quarter, they're playing with tremendous effort. One guy misses them, here comes the next, and here comes the next. That's good effort, and that wasn't always a hallmark of these Raiders teams. When I was playing in Denver, the word, and it always played out, if you could get up on them, they would stop playing hard, and they're playing hard right to the end.
Of course, we said 97 points allowed the last 2. Now 131 points allowed in the last 3 games. 55 put up by Baltimore, and there's a ball that is deflected away, and Desmond Bryant nearly had the interception.
Desmond Bryant, defensive lineman, great recognition of the screen pass, and these guys didn't often play receiver in high school, so it's tough for him. Gets his hands on the ball. Could have gone all the way. Good Desmond Bryant had he brought that in.
So Garrett Hartley will try a field goal. It'll be a 47-yard attempt. Hartley is only the 12th attempt of the year for the Saints, and the kick is good. And the Saints add to their lead with a lot of time remaining in the 4th quarter. There's Moore, who has caught 2 TD passes. It's now a 38-10 game. That's Lake Merritt in downtown Oakland, and the forecast last few days was rain today, but the rain has stayed away. We started the game 61 degrees, and it's been a delightful day weather-wise and for the Saints. Not for the Raiders, however, who trail 38-10. And Morstead will be kicking off to Coy Francis after the 9-play drive resulting in a field goal. And here's Francis. Casillas making the tackle for the Saints. All smiles. There's been some celebrations, some penalties, and Jimmy Graham. Good job, Mitchell. Saints lead the Raiders 38-10. First down at the 20. Carson Palmer, 15 of 27. 199 yards, has thrown a touchdown pass, but 2 interceptions. And here's Palmer's pass. It's caught on the shallow cross by Hayward Bay. And Hayward Bay will have a first down, getting to the 38, and a gain of 18. Talked about the Raiders, John. You did after they won 2 in a row, beating Jacksonville and Kansas City within a game of getting closer, and then lost to Tampa Bay here. And then at Baltimore. Next week they play at Cincinnati. First down. Palmer, and he completes it to the 45 to Brandon Myers. Well, time for another game break, and let's rejoin Curt Menefee.
All right, the Broncos going for their 5th straight win, hosting San Diego. Peyton Manning's got 3 touchdowns already. This one to Eric Decker for a 20-yard score. It's 24-9. Broncos on top at home in the 3rd quarter. Dick and John.
And the Denver Broncos continue their great play. And here is Marcel Reese as he gets into Saints territory to the 49. Wilson on the tackle, and a gain of 6 yards. So Peyton Manning leading the way, and what has he done to the city of Denver since he's been there, John Lynch?
He's the day he walked in the building, they became a legitimate contender for the Lombardi Trophy. I mean, he's that kind of player. He's come back healthy. You think how things changed. The first half of that San Diego Monday night game, a little over a month ago, they're down big. He leads them back, and it's been all uphill for the Broncos since.
And here is Carson Palmer on the screen pass, and getting a shot was Reese by Curtis Lofton. You talk about Denver beating New Orleans, and Reese slow getting up, and that had to be quite a hit to slow down that man.
Curtis Lofton, Joe Vitt talks about guys he's proud of the way they weathered the storm. He said Curtis Lofton came to us from the Atlanta Falcons. He could have very easily, when the Falcons are humming along and undefeated, said, hey, I wish I were back in Atlanta. He never wavered. He was happy to be a Saint, proud to be a Saint. He's played well. He said it's guys like that dug us out of this hole.
Palmer's pass deflected and incomplete off the hands of Brandon Myers. And I think that if you're a teammate of Lofton coming over and you know that he's a Saint all the way, that you have to respect him tremendously.
Absolutely, particularly when his old team's having success, and he got the upper hand of the Falcons last week as they beat his old team.
Well, the Raiders and Dennis Allen trying to emulate what the Saints have done. You know, they were 8-8 the last 2 years, in effect just starting over. And they point to the Saints and their progress when they were struggling at 8-8, which they were, by the way, back in the 08 season. They can do it, we can do it. And this pass comes up short to Jaron Kreiner. And the general manager, they have the new young coach. And the general manager and Reggie McKenzie trying to get it done here.
There's Reggie McKenzie along with his brother Raleigh, who's a scout for the team. But Dennis Allen spent that time in New Orleans, and he said, hey, Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis, that was the leadership that got us out from a 3-13 season before they took off. You see the offsides. And Dennis Allen said that's what
Neutral zone infraction, number 95 defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Dennis Allen said that that's the charge that we have, Reggie McKenzie and he. We came into a tough situation, salary cap issues and such, but we got to draft our way out. We got to make acquisitions and get ourselves out. They've got some talent. You got to keep adding to that and get your message across on how you want to play, and then the thing will turn.
4th down and 5 in a 38-10 game with the ball on the 44 of the Saints. Trying to convert a 4th down play. And there's a pass overthrown, Denarius Moore. So the Saints will take over on downs with 8:18 to go. Rough day for Carson Palmer. Not so for Drew Brees. Glorious as usual. Well, Robert Griffin III with a great all-round game, 4 touchdown passes. Matt Schaub, 479 yards, and a big game for Dez Bryant. Cowboys coming from behind to beat Cleveland. Chris Ivory with the run, and Ivory flag is down as Ivory gets to the 49. Ivory's had a couple of good games coming into this one.
10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
And Brian De La Puente holding on the play. And I want to remind you, coming up on Thanksgiving Day, special presentation of the NFL on Fox. RG3, who had a big game today as the Redskins beat the Eagles, trounced them really 31-6. Go against the Cowboys, who won in overtime over the Browns 23-20. Always a great show between those teams. And the Dallas Cowboys right now 1 game behind the Giants for the NFC East lead. 1st down and 20, back on the 34. And here's Brees, gets it off to Pierre Thomas. Thomas trying to do the rest. And Thomas gets hit hard by Matt Giordano. Almost had a 1st down, but a crunching hit. He got 18 yards. So Thanksgiving Day, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific.
69 is recorded.
For the Cowboys and the Redskins. Brees, who has not been sacked today, has 3 touchdown passes and has completed 20 of 25.
And maybe that's the answer to my question. Sometimes I sit here and I know it's just the way it's done in the NFL, and Drew Brees is a competitor, but I start saying, what's he doing in here? You know, a good opportunity to get Chase Daniel some work. I understand he's your quarterback, but when a game's under control, I might start thinking about getting him on the sidelines.
Ingram tackled for a loss by Mike Mitchell. And there is Chase Daniel. Saints, of course, you mentioned the fact that they have a tough road ahead. And in fact, they have 3 very difficult games in a row. And the next 2 after that aren't easy either. 3rd down and 1. Well, no game is easy. Pierre Thomas, who has gained 30 yards on 5 carries. All of the Saints rushers have gained at least 6 yards a carry today. Breeze backing up, Mitchell going after him and throws the ball away. And that will bring up 4th down. So here are the tough games coming up for the Saints, and tough they are. They've got the 49ers at home, the Falcons and Giants on the road, and then Tampa Bay and Dallas before they end up with Carolina. Those next 3, huge.
That's tough sledding. And remember, this team started 0-4. Only one team in the history of this league, the San Diego Chargers, in 1994 have gotten to the playoffs. The Saints are sure looking like a team that can do it as well, but it's going to be tough with the competition in front of them.
And the fair catch, and the ball will be down inside the 10. And by the way, that game between the 49ers and the Saints in San Francisco will be on Fox, America's Game of the Week next week. What a battle that should be for the hard-driving Saints on a huge roll now. 1st and 10 at the 7-yard line. Palmer in the end zone, and the pass is intercepted by Elbert Mack, and Mack will get it to the 1-yard line. So let's see whether Mack had trapped it or caught it.
Elbert Mack makes a great read. Look at him break on that football, extend. Whether he caught it or not, a terrific play, but at the end of this play, he gets slung down, hits his head hard on the turf. Watch Streeter throw him to the ground. Looks like that's going to be an incomplete pass. But at the end of the play, he gets thrown down by Streeter, and he's down with the trainers around him.
Former Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but just indicating, even though it'll go as an incompleted pass, the aggressiveness that the secondary of the Saints have shown today. But Elbert Mack shaken up. We'll be back. Elbert Mack, who is down for quite a while now, back on the Saints sideline.
After
Replaced by
reviewing
Johnny
the play,
Patrick.
the pass hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass.
So as we
Second
saw
down,
clearly,
reset the game
the
clock
ball had
to
hit the
6
ground.
minutes.
Incompleted pass. Well, in honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league donating $100 to each of its nonprofit partners, the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute and learn more, visit NFL.com/salute. And the flyover before the game, befitting every stadium here. Carson Palmer in the end zone. Pass is caught by Darius Hayward-Bay. And Bay brings it out to the 30-yard line, where Abdul Quddus makes the tackle after a pickup of 22 yards. 1st and 10 at the 29. Marcel Reese in the backfield. He has really been the one standard bearer for the Raiders offensively today. And this pass is caught by Hayward-Bay, and he'll have a 1st down. Out to the 45. Patrick, who replaced Elbert Mack as the nickelback, makes the tackle, picking up 16 yards. As we wind down to 5 minutes remaining in the game. The Saints comfortably in front of this one, 38-10 over the Raiders.
You look at the Saints right now, really good defensive effort. Their yardage is going to be skewed by these yards at the end of the game that they're willing to give up.
And a great catch there by Myers. Brandon Myers with a terrific catch. He has caught a touchdown pass today, and he gets a 27-yard catch and run there. And the Raiders are at the 28 of the Saints.
27 yards.
Right here, a great throw by Palmer. Very nice catch. And Malcolm Jenkins, you got to wrap up. You try to butt guys down in this league, they don't go down. They're great athletes. You got to bring your arms and wrap and tackle.
1st down, and Palmer's pass tipped away by Johnny Patrick, and a flag goes down. And the pass intended for Rod Streeter.
Holding Number 32.
And they'll call the holding
5-yard
penalty against Patrick and an automatic first down for Oakland.
You see that right hand draped around Streeter's right hip by Johnny Patrick, who's in there for Elbert Mack, who's replacing Corey White, who was hurt last week.
11 penalties called against New Orleans. A lot of them have been the taunting variety. Excessive celebration as well. And here is Palmer's pass, and it's caught by Rod Streeter, and he is out of bounds at the 3. So a 20-yard pass there.
This young receiving core that really has a lot of promise for the Raiders, led by guys like Rod Streeter and Kreiner and Denarius Moore. A lot of promise at the wide receiver position, starting to come alive in this game. It took them too long, though.
First and goal at the 3. And a fade. And this pass incomplete. Kreiner defended by Patrick Robinson. So it'll be second and goal. And look at the pride of the Saints defense with Steve Spagnuolo trying to keep him out of the end zone.
That's tremendous finish right there. He looked like he was beat, but you keep fighting. You get that hand in there and you rip. That's what defensive backs that play at a high level in this league do. You never stop fighting. Tough to do, but a really nice play. He pulls the arm of Kreiner. Good play by Patrick Robinson. Had a solid game today.
Second down and goal from the 3. And another pattern into the end zone, and this one will be touchdown to Kreiner. Wanted to make sure he had both feet in at possession, and so Carson Palmer with his second touchdown pass of the game, 3 yards to Kreiner.
Really well-placed football. Kreiner says, give me one more chance. I'll bring this ball in. Just a perfectly thrown ball by Carson Palmer. Good job by Kreiner. Getting that left foot down, and the right foot gets it in.
And the first career touchdown catch by Jaron Kreiner, the 5th round draft pick from Arizona. And Janikowski with the extra point, and it's now 38-17. Carson Palmer, 6th career year with over 3,000 yards. Well, every day really is Veterans Day, and this was the flyover before the game on the Salute to Service, and a special day. And Mike Pereira has been a great assist to all of our broadcast teams when there are official calls made in the studio, and he's going to be very proud today because his godson is going to come into the picture on the right. Jonathan Hanson. There he is. Jonathan Hanson was the pilot in the Salute to Service, the godson of Mike Pereira being saluted today. And thank you to all the servicemen from all of us at Fox Sports.
That is awesome, and we thank all the servicemen. I think the league does a tremendous job. And we also thank Mike Pereira. What a job he does saving our bacon up here. We try to play referee, but I wasn't a referee. I was a football player, and Mike Pereira, he made most of these rules, and he does a great job helping us out.
I'll tell you what, he comes in and he makes an observation, and he sees it, and
he's right all the time.
He's right. I was going to say that. He was right. 7 plays, 93 yards for the touchdown, and 4 minutes remain in the game. 38-17. Saints anticipating the onside kick by Janikowski. Here it is, and the Saints, Jimmy Graham, nothing like a former basketball player, as you pointed out. Well, here he comes in, Chase Daniel in relief of Drew Brees, with 4 minutes to go in the game. And Drew Brees completing 20 of 26 for 219 yards through 3 touchdowns. And a superb game today for Brees. Still has his helmet on like he wants to come in after one play.
Surprised he's not over there looking at pictures, but he's going to help his buddy Chase Daniel out. Daniel doesn't get much play. Only 8 throws in his NFL career.
Chris Ivory getting the handoff. And no gain on first down.
Timeout, Oakland, first team.
Chase
timeout,
Daniel in his
30
fourth
seconds.
season with the
Timeout.
Saints, but let's focus on Drew Brees and the kind of day that he had today.
And it was special, as it usually is. The run game sets up the play-action pass to Jimmy Graham. His ability to extend plays within the pocket, throw the ball over the top of the defense. He's pumping the ball all over. He spreads the ball, throws it to so many different receivers, utilizes all his weapons. This guy is a special player, special competitor, and as the Saints are so quick to point out, even a better person than player.
And as Jennifer Hale said, maybe would be elected mayor easily in New Orleans right now. And there you see totally smashing Johnny Unitas' record for consecutive games with a touchdown pass. And you talk about Johnny Unitas, and a lot of the people watching may not remember how great a quarterback Unitas was in his NFL career.
Timeout, Oakland, second team timeout. 30
Chris
seconds.
Ivory. So Brees will not put the cap on, huh? He won't say, okay, my day is done.
He's already, I promise you, thinking about next week's game as you see another incredible record, 45 straight games of 20-plus pass completions. Not easy to do. He does it week in, week out.
Well, even the touchdown record, you know, you can have a game, and in fact, talking to Joe Vitt, and he says, I would liken that to, like a Joe DiMaggio 56-game hitting streak and some of the great streaks we've had. There are games in which touchdown passes just don't happen. But they happen for Drew Brees. 3:45 remaining in the game, 3rd down and 10. And here is out of the backfield, Jed Collins, the fullback, shakes off one defender and fights his way for what appears to be a first down. We'll see where they spot the ball.
I think you've got to give a lot of credit to this Saints offensive line. I think they've done a tremendous job today leading the charge on the run game. Drew Brees, I think, got hit once big in the game today by Philip Wheeler. Great job of protecting him all day long.
And no sacks. And Charles Brown, who started for Zach Strief, who missed his 2nd straight game. And Brown got hurt himself, and Bryce Harris, the Fresno State rookie, went in for him. So Oakland, there's the rushing story today, and the Raiders had a lot of those runs early on. Of course, after falling behind, couldn't pass anymore as Ivory carries. A lot of people may not remember that Chris Ivory was from Tiffin University in Ohio. Started his career at Washington State, went to Tiffin University in Ohio, where he suffered a broken leg, and now here he is. And coming off of 2 straight superb games.
Yeah, they've got a tremendous weapon in him. I think particularly late in the year, what happens to defensive football players, you start getting nicked about this time. Your shoulders start hurting, your fingers are jammed, and you really don't want to see a guy like Chris Ivory that's going to run right through you if you allow him to. They've got a great weapon on their hands, and Chris Ivory through the New Orleans Saints. 2nd
down and 6 at the 36. Here's Mark Ingram. And Ingram is tackled and will be down to the 2-minute warning. Well, the Saints in 07 started 0-4. They got to 4-4 and finished at 7-9, the only losing season since Brees was a quarterback. That's a scenario they want to avoid. And they're going to get to 500 today against the Raiders. 2-minute warning here in Oakland, and we'll be right back. Minutes remain in the game here in Oakland with the Saints leading 38-17. Don't forget the Redskins and the Cowboys. Pregame show at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Kickoff at 4:30. The Redskins and the Cowboys. And the Redskins and Cowboys both winning today. Dallas now 1 game behind the Giants in the division lead there. And the Redskins 2 behind with a lot of games left. 2 minutes to go, and play action for Daniel. And Daniel running for the first down will get it and then some. And clock continues to run. And a gain of 19. Well, Veterans Day today, and we had to fly over, but talk about veteran coaches who achieved greatness. And the Oakland Raiders, great tradition at least for 2 out of 3. John Madden, who is a Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl winning coach. Tom Flores, who also won a Super Bowl as head coach of the Raiders. And John Gruden, who did not win a Super Bowl for the Raiders. He was on the winning end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and your head coach when you won your Super Bowl.
Against the Raiders. Right. They didn't care for that too much, but we certainly enjoyed it.
So distinguished coaches on hand today. as we get down to a minute remaining. So the Saints roll up 38 more points in an incredible season of offense, but the defense, that would be the #1 topic, I think, after this game, talking about New Orleans.
I think so. We talked about them being scary, and now all of a sudden this defense, the yards aren't going to look great. The Raiders got 404, a lot of those empty yards at the end of the game. This team played well, though. 2 turnovers, close on a bunch of other ones. This defense coming together, and you put that together with this offense, watch out the rest of the league.
And that will be the last play of the game. And Malcolm Jenkins with the interception, 2 turnovers. And the NFC South, Atlanta coming back after losing to the Saints last week, winning. They're 9-1. Tampa Bay won. The Saints won. They're now 5-5 on the year. The Saints not thinking of playoffs yet. They're thinking of just winning games and getting back in it. As Dennis Allen, the former New Orleans assistant, and Joe Vitt talk. Final score, the Saints 38 and the Raiders 17. Raiders drop to 3-7 on the year, and we'll be back to Oakland in just a moment.